Alright guys, we are right outside of the Baltimore Convention Center. We're getting ready to go to Baltimore Comic Con. This is day one. This is Friday. We're a little bit early so we can get all our tickets and everything. So we're hoping we can get in here and get through the lines pretty quick. I've got a Jim Lee signing later today. So I've got all my stuff down here in the bag and the box. I've loaded up. I've got a bunch of comics. So looking forward to a great day. I will do some filming during the show and try to give you guys an idea of what's going on around here. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy the show. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed some of the footage from the Comic-Con, Baltimore Comic Con Day 1. I apologize, I didn't do a lot of footage. I didn't do a lot of stuff during the show, mostly because I was standing in line most of the day, and I taped a little, but focus was trying to get things signed and trying to get most of it done, and then at the end of the day, or towards the end of the day, try to get in that Jim Lee line early enough, and I almost missed that, so I've got a little bit of a story about that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed some of the scenes, a little bit of the footage, and you've seen some of the stuff I've already done. You'll probably have already seen some a little bit of footage from Jim Lee, and yeah, let's just go through it. I'm going to do it. This is basically Comic-Con, Baltimore Comic-Con Day 1 haul. This is what I did today, and I haven't even bothered to take these books, comics out of the bags that I've got them prepped in. So you're going to see a little bit of how I prep all of my books that I got signed today. You'll see how they're getting prepped. So it's not going to present all that nicely, but I can go through them a little bit and show you how I ended up prepping for this and what I got signed. So let's just get into it. We'll start right now. All right, no particular order. I'm literally got a stack over here, and we'll just kind of go through it. So this right here is Berserker #1. This is a exclusive cover from Cards, Comics, and Collectibles up in Reisterstown, Maryland. They are the owners and originator of, and they host the Baltimore Comic Con. These are the guys who host the show. And they did, when Berserker came out, they had their own cover. This is a J.G. Jones cover. It's a spectacular cover. I love this cover. They still have some of these books available if you ever want to go to their website. I should leave a link because I talk about them so much. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can visit them. But I ended up getting Ron Garney on here, who does the art for the series. And it's a little hard to see, but you see where my finger is. There his signature is right down here. Now, I haven't seen Ron Garney in, wow, a million years it seems like. I talked to him a little bit about when he first came to Baltimore Comic Con. He had just started, or been on it for a little bit, but he had just started on his Captain America run. And I said that, and he said, well, that's actually a pretty long time ago. And, you know, I kind of said, really, it didn't feel like it was that long ago. And he said, oh, yeah, it did. To him, it felt like a million years ago. But to me, it seems like just a few days ago that we were still reading some of those Ron Garney, I think it was Mark Waid stories and all. So I got that from Ron Garney. I'm going to save this book. Hopefully we'll get to see J.G. Jones eventually again at some point. He used to be a pretty regular at Baltimore Comic Con, but the world's a different place post-COVID. Who knows when I'll get a chance to see him, but I'll save that for him at some point. Now here's a gem. This is issue number 8 of Crisis on Infinite Earths. You've got the area right here. This is Jerry Ordway that I got to sign today. And if you can take a look right here on the left side where my finger is, there's George Perez's signature. And covered up completely by tape right up here is, underneath that is Marv Wolfman. So those have been signed for years. Why this wasn't already signed, I don't know. I knew the last time I had Jerry sign books, it was a batch of these Crisis books, and I knew one of them was missing. Like, why is this? Why I should have all of these, right? I know I got George Perez and Marv Wolfman to sign. I thought I had them sign every one of those books, but when I finally got around to having a chance to get Jerry Ordway, where was all the books? This might have been that missing book. I'll have to go back and double check now, but this should complete the run of at least the books that Ordway ended up doing the inking for. So I was happy about that. And you can see this is how I prep the books. These are in a bag and board. I create a window for the area that I want the artist or creator to sign. And if you, here, I want to move it here. You can see the light on the plastic on the rest of it. Here, let's see. There you go. See? So this is the only exposed area. And I do this, I put the tape around the edges like this. It's overkill. I'm telling you guys, it's overkill, but I do this just to add a little extra protection to the book as it's getting passed to the artist and back, and in the box that I use when we're at a show, so nothing really can damage us. Hopefully, you know, just protect the edges just a little bit more. So I set up all of my window sleeves that I do for signings. I do every one of them just like this. Protection on all four corners. And especially if I'm going to submit to CGC or CBS at the show. Now this one I wouldn't, it's already been pre-signed, but I guess I could literally walk this right over to CBCS and submit this to get this authenticated and graded. Well, the bag and board's ready to go to them because, hey, it's still protected really well. All right, continuing on. Oh, this was a nice one. So I got Terry Dotson was there, and I've seriously got tape all over this cover here. And this is the cover to Harley Quinn 30th anniversary issue. It's one of the variant covers. He did the cover for it. This is a, if it wasn't for all the tape, you'd have this beautiful Harley Quinn cover right here. But I wanted him to be able to sign, and you can see his signature right up here. And I thought his wife Rachel was going to be there as well, who does the, I believe she does the coloring, right guys? Is that right? And I left a space down here. I had went and looked at a lot of books where they both signed the books together, and that seems to be where she would normally sign books, is down on the bottom edge sometimes. So I left a space for her, but she was not at the show, so I'll have to save that for another day. But again, here's all the tape all over the place. Again, overkill. In this case, I had two windows. I had a window here and a window there. Now, I only utilized one of them, of course, but I still wanted the extra tape around things to help protect it. Now, this is a book that should have been signed by two people today, but not just one. And person I ended up getting, this is Secret Warriors #1. This is, I got this signed by Jim Chung. You can see his signature right there. And a little bit's covered up right here. You see those. That is signed by Jonathan Hickman right there. And the person that should have been there, but he canceled in the show for a second straight year, was Brian Michael Bendis. And of course, he was the other the writer on this, and as well as Hickman. So that'll have to wait for another day, and I'll end up doing another bag and board. I've got a space over here to the left. Over here, this is where I'd like to get him to sign. So he shows up again. I think he's already scheduled for next year. We'll keep our fingers crossed and hold our breath. But I'll do another bag and board for that one. And this is X-Men Unlimited. I think this is the first issue. I've got it all covered up, and it's been so long since I looked at it. But I had Mark McKenna sign this many years ago at this point, and his signature is really covered up. You can see a little silver right there. His signature's right there. And so I'm going to mispronounce this, I'm sure, but Fabian Nicieza was there, and I've already had him sign some other books, but I have this thing where I like to get artists to sign books, or creators to sign books that other creators have already signed. To me, it helps cut down on some of the books that I bring to shows. I don't have to always have brand new books all the time, and I kind of like this idea of going and getting extra books, getting extra signatures on books like this. So what I've got here, and this book is actually going to stay taped up just the way it is. I'm not going to take it out of this. It's going to stay like it is until next June. when I go down to Heroes Con, and Bill Sienkiewicz is supposed to be there. And he, if you can tell by the art on the cover, you can see that this is Sabretooth under there. He did the artwork to this. So I hope to get Bill Sienkiewicz on this book as well. And I've got a list of some of the other people. I need to get Tom DeFalco, Bob Harris on here, but this book is almost done. Now, here is a real gem, and this is a book, I probably should take this out to let you guys see who all is on this book. Now, if you watch my preparation, my countdown to Baltimore Comic Con video, I'll leave a link down below so you can check it out. You'll have seen this book. You'll probably have seen it exactly the way it appears now. Bagged and boarded, areas cut out, and I literally have two different areas cut out. I got this big giant area in the middle, and I've got this slightly smaller area up at the top. And I was looking to get 3 people to sign at the show, and I've got, let's see, up here at the top, you can see one signature I got today. This is Brett Breading. Is it Breeding? Is it Breeding or Breading? I never can remember that. But I need Jose Luis Garcia Lopez as well. This is a collection of art from a lot of different creators throughout the generations on Superman. And as you can start to see a little bit, there's a Jim Steranko one there, and I've got a lot of this covered up because, well, I wanted to protect some of it. Everybody signed around Superman in the black area, but I've got creators like Mike Zeck and Walt Simonson who did the cover here, and I've got a list here in the back. I'm looking at some of the names. George Perez is on here. My mother bought this for me off of QVC many years ago. Literally, there's a certificate of authenticity in here that may or may not mean anything, but at least it has the list. It literally came with George Perez, Neil Adams, Jerry Ordway, Dan Jurgens, Kurt Swan, and Jim Steranko. And I've since been adding more to that. And so I want to add, so I've got Brett to sign this. I'm looking for Jose to sign this. And down here in the middle, I'm saving this for tomorrow on day 2 at Baltimore Comic Con. I'm going to get Frank Miller to sign this as well. So that's going to just be a spectacular piece. It's too bad I've got a real nasty black spine tick over here on the edge. It's a little black over here, and you can't really hide it. You may be able to press it down a little bit, but it would have been nice if it had this more of a perfect book, because this is a book, once I get close to being finished and be able, the opportunities I can get to get this signed, it's a book I would send to CBCS at some point to get graded. I may still do it even with the defect on there, because it won't matter what the grade is. The autographs on this book are just so fantastic. Now, the most autographs I got from anybody was David Peterson from Mouse Guard, the creator of Mouse Guard. And also, I'd leave a link to this video as well. I did 3 days of videos down at Heroes Con in Charlotte, and he was down there, and he has been doing the covers to some of the reprint issues of Usagi Yojimbo. They've been taking some of the old classic storylines, colorizing them and reprinting them into little 6-issue miniseries. And the one that had just finished was issue 6. It literally had just come out right before the con, was the miniseries Lone Goat and Kid. And I had issues 2 through 5 with me. We'd stopped off at a comic store in Richmond, Virginia, where some new comic books were out, and literally issue 6 is sitting there in a stand, so I picked it up. So now I've got issues 2 through 6, and I had tried looking through the collection. I just don't know where it is. I know I have it. I had issue 1 someplace, and I said, well, this would be a nice set to get signed. Here, I'll show you. Of course, I picked up this here right before the show, and I told him, I said, hey, are you going to ask him, are you going to be back up in Baltimore for Baltimore Comic Con? He usually is. And he said yes. And I said, well, I'll have this book for you. I'd like to complete the whole run of this 6-issue miniseries. So, long story longer, once I had come back home after Heroes Con and I started looking for this book, well, I didn't realize, I wasn't even paying attention, but he also did the covers to another 6-issue miniseries in this, and it was the Dragon Bellow Conspiracy. And I had all the issues to that. So here is issues 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So he ended up doing 7 different books for me, and I really appreciate it. I thanked him for his time. He didn't charge me for any of the autographs. There were a lot of artists. Just about everybody charges something. Even Jerry Ordway was literally $2 an autograph. And a lot of cases, these are going to charity, to the Heroes Fund. In this case, David Peterson doesn't charge anything, and this is about as many books as I would do if he's not taking money for anything. But he was really nice, and I thanked him for his time. And we were joking. I said, I need Stan Sakai to fly across the country again. It's been a while since he's been on the East Coast. It seems like at a con that I can go to. So I'm piling up the books to get Stan Sakai. That's going to be not going to be super expensive, but that's going to add up on that. So those are from David Peterson. And then I got 2 books signed. I literally had just gotten this in from a Whatnot sale from Davis Ryder. And these are his exclusives with Whatnot. He did their reprints of The Boys #3. And he had Jay Lee do these covers. It's the cover, and there's different variants. This is a Virgin variant, the Smoke Virgin variant, I think. And this is just the regular variant. And, of course, it's homage to Spider-Man 129. Beautiful covers, and I had thoughts on these here. I'll set them right there. I had thoughts on these that I was going to get them CGC'd, but the line was short, and I didn't have time to go get the facilitator or even CGC themselves to bring a witness with me. So I said, that's fine. I will just get them signed. If I ever want to get them graded, I'll just send them into CBCS. And so my first big mistake of the day was, hey, who do I make this out to? Or what's your name? And I literally said, it's Rusty. And he personalized this one to me. And I'm like, well, crap. Well, I'm not going to get that CGC now, or CBCS. But he didn't personalize this one. This one may end up going in at some point. But still, 2 really good copies. This one is, I guess, definitely staying in the PC at this point. So that was Garth Ennis. And then I'm looking here. I think there's still a couple people I still need to get on my list. Frank Miller is on day 2. So I didn't have anything with me for him, so that was fine. And I did not get Alan Davis. And Alan Davis, I had a book, but that's a book that the one I have for him, I want to get it, and I've got it right here. I want to get it sent to CGC because I'm sure there's going to be another chance to get Chris Claremont, and I want to get this book signed by Alan Davis, get it CGC'd, and then be able to submit it to another Claremont signing down the road. And I'll have to crack open the slab and everything, and I'll have to repay for that part of it. But I didn't have enough foresight, having gotten some Claremont books earlier. You'll see some here in a few minutes, that I didn't have the foresight to have this book. I don't think the list for Baltimore Comic Con was complete, so I didn't know Alan Davis was going to be here. So I didn't have this book signed by Claremont. Now, of course, I want to, come back full circle on that and get him to sign this after I get Alan Davis on here. So that's for tomorrow. This is for day 2, hopefully. But the last thing I got signed was Jim Lee. Now, Jim Lee was it's a big signing. I had ended up buying, I think, 3 different packages. It was 3 different gold packages. And that gold package gave you 3 different autographs you could get, anything signed. And then it gave you a print that you could pick up, a 12 by 18 print. And I had worked out the math, and I'm going, well, I could buy 1 platinum package and get 8 autographs of my stuff, and then 1 big, giant 16 by 20 lithograph, which was going to be a very nice print. Or I could get 3 autograph tickets and get a 12 by 18 print with each one of those. And I'm going, well, it's either going to be 9 autographs or it's going to be 12 autographs. And I'm like, let's go with the 12. That's fine. And I ended up almost missing my time slot because I had it down as 5:30. Turned out the gold signing started at about 4, and I've got a little bit of story with that, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But let me just go through what I got signed, and then it'll be story time. But I've got 2 copies of X-Men #1 with Magneto, the Magneto cover, and this he signed it in silver or gold, and you can see it down here. There, you can see it right there. And like I said, some of these are books that I had Chris Claremont sign. These were all from Heroes Con back in June this year. So here is another one. He signed this one in silver. You can see it down there at the bottom. And then I got the regular issue with Cyclops and Wolverine, and of course there's Claremont at the top. You can see the Jim Lee's signature right here. And then the last X-Men #1 I got was issue #1 of the special collector's edition, and his signature again is in the middle, and his signature is up here at the top. And you might be wondering, with all the arrows going around in all of these, I had prepped these all for Charlotte, and the idea down there was going to be get Chris Claremont, have it witnessed, have the facilitator send it into the CGC signing that they were doing with Jim Lee and Scott Williams. So there's actually a space down here saved for Scott Williams. Now, he wasn't in Baltimore, though. What made me pull back was just the cost on doing that, the way I was doing it down there. It just seemed like it was growing exponentially, and I just pulled back. I ended up only doing 2 books through them to the Jim Lee Scott Williams signing. So I saved all these from Chris Claremont, and I said, okay, this is fine. I'll take these to Baltimore and get Jim Lee. We'll add it to it, and I can just sit on it, and at any point I can send these into CBCS. So those are X-Men #1, and then the last one that Chris Claremont had signed was issue 168. You know, the classic Captain America Black Widow cover, and you can see his signatures right here. There's Claremont up here, and this is one of the books, 2 books that I sent to. They have them do the signing at CGC, and I got a 9.8 on this. It's a gem. It is absolutely a gem. It's got all 3 of the signatures on there. It's absolutely beautiful. Just an absolute grand slam of a comic book to get signed by Jim Lee. So those were the comics, and then this is going to be a little big and awkward, so I can't set them there, but I showed these off in my preparation video, but I got 2 artist editions signed, and we've got the Jim Lee's X-Men book, and of course, there you go. You've got the issue 168 for the cover there. You can see the actual pen and ink artwork on there. And let me open this up. So the inside spread, you got the giant Magneto, and you can see Jim Lee's autograph right up here. And then the other artist edition I got was the DC Legends one. This is, of course, mostly his Batman stuff. There's definitely a healthy dose of Superman and Justice League in here too, but I like to think of it, I'm going to enjoy, I think, the Hush pages more than anything. But let's open this up. The inside spread is a little dark, but you can see down here in the lower right hand corner, my fingers are down here, you can't see me, but there you go. You can see his signatures right down here at the bottom there. So it doesn't pop quite as much. Maybe a silver might have worked, but it's still pretty good. So I enjoy both of those. I'm actually going to enjoy going through these, and being an art student myself, I always enjoyed comic book art, and I just love seeing the tight detail that in black and white, the original type of artwork, you can see the detail that sometimes coloring, especially modern coloring, really will distract from the art itself. So that's why I love original artwork. I love seeing it in the black and white format. So the only other thing that I had left from the Jim Lee signing was, like I said, you got a free 12 by 18 print. And, well, I had 3 tickets for this. I got to get, and I figured, okay, I'm just going to pick up 3 of these. I'll keep 1, and I can sell 2 of them. Well, it turned out they had 3 different posters. They had a Joker poster, and it's in gold, but you can see his signatures on this. He's already pre-signed these, but he did a Joker print. Here is a Wonder Woman print. And his signature is down here again. It doesn't pop as much as you would like, but it's still fine. And then this was a Green Arrow print, and I don't know, I probably, if I'd only had one, could only pick out two of the three, I would have picked out the Joker and the Wonder Woman, and I wouldn't have done this one, but this is still really good. So those were the prints that I picked up from Jim Lee, and I'm looking here, what is left? Oh yeah, so the only other thing that I ended up getting signed today, when I went to Jimmy Chung's table to get the Secret Warriors book signed, he also had prints, and so I ended up, I think it was like 2 prints for $30, and he'd sign it, of course. So I picked up a print of Young Avengers, because of all his artwork, some of my favorite was that Young Avengers run, and you can see his signature down here in the corner, right there with my finger. And then he had a lot of other prints, but I was only going to pick up 2 of them anyway. And he had both of these versions of this poster. It's from the cover, from the Civil War storyline, where you have Cap standing over top of Iron Man, and then of course you had the complete opposite. You had Iron Man over top of Captain America, and I guess this kind of settles the debate on Civil War. Which side do I stand on? So here's my cover. There's Cap standing over top of Iron Man. So you know where I stand. But that was the last thing that I ended up getting signed. Now, tomorrow, on day 2, I've got, early in the morning, I've got a Frank Miller signing. So you'll see, I'll show you those off in the next video, what I get signed. And as I've got that Alan Davis book. And after that, I'm pretty much clean. I'm going to go start diving into the boxes and trying to find some good key back issues. I have books with me at the show. I've got some high-grade slab comics, really high-grade, some key books that have some value to them. My goal is to hopefully trade that for a mega key. Take a couple of those and trade up. I'm trying to really step up and get a mega key at a good grade. We'll see if it works. I didn't have a lot of time today to go through the show and see what's there, but hey, we do what we can. I've got more time tomorrow. Frank Miller signings at the beginning of the day. I think it's at 10:30 in the morning, so that's great. The show opens at 10, so I won't be in line forever during the day, and I'll have the bulk of the day to start going through bins and everything. So, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I apologize. Probably by day 3, I will have more time, and I will walk through the show, and I'll start showing you some of the walls of some of the books and everything. I'll have more time for that kind of thing. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and please stay tuned and look for the next video. I'd say hit the thumbs up if you like the video, but also hit that bell for notification, because these shows I'm probably going to air as soon as I edit them. I'm going to put them up so they're ready to go. You can see them. Normally, I keep to a schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m., but these I want to get out as soon as possible so you guys can look at the show, and if you guys run into me, make sure you give me a shout out. Oh, before we go, I got to give a shout out. 2 of the guys that I met there were from, if you've watched YouTube, if you watch my show, you guys probably have watched Comics Elite, the YouTube show that they do from their store. Every week, you watch these guys do a skip it video and a top 10 video. And hang on, my video is completely going to sleep on me here. There we go. And I watch their shows every Tuesday night. So when I go into New Comic Book Day, I literally know kind of what I wanted to look at and what I might not want to look at. And I watch their show all the time, and I ended up running into the host of the show. You've got Drew and Kyle, not Kevin, and I ran into these guys there. I thought I'd recognized Drew earlier, but it turned out I was right. It was him, but it wasn't until I saw his cohort, Kyle, there, that together it's like, oh my God, I know these guys. So I introduced myself and told them I'm a big fan and everything, and It turned out that Kyle's going to be in the Jim Lee signing, and he said, "Yeah, I'll be up there at 5 for the 5:30 signing." And I'm going, 5:30? I was like, I better check on this, because I thought the whole signing started at 5:30. Turns out that the gold signing was starting at 4 o'clock, and it was already 10 minutes after 4 at that point. So I was very far back in that line. So I stayed in line the rest of the day. I didn't get to do much at the end of the show once I was finished, but shout out to those guys. I'll throw a photo up. I took a quick selfie with the guys, and just want to say, if you watched the video, thank you. It was great meeting you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, because I think, Kyle, you're going to be in the Frank Miller signing as well. So thank you guys. I'm a big fan, and I hope you get a chance to watch my channel too. So, okay, everybody, I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.